I have been running this for 3 years, so I kind of, you know, I've been tweaking things here and there. I do have another setup video on my page. The whole trailer was completely different. So let me show you guys what I got going on here. The F-150, who cares? I'm not giving you a rundown of this truck. All right, enough of me blabbing. I guess we'll start with the good stuff first. For those of you that don't know, this is the 2023 Wright Standard ZK with the 61-inch deck that is covered in dirt and grass. Has the Vanguard 37 horse on it, 15-gallon capacity on the gas. This is one of the best mowers, I mean, on the market that money can buy. I love them, absolutely love them. I have 2 of them, for those of you that don't know. The other one's in the garage. It's my backup mower. That's also very important when you start growing your business. When you start having 10, 15, 20, 30 accounts, having a backup mower is very important. Let's see what else about this. It is a stand-on, for those of you that didn't know that. This one, when you raise and lower the deck, the entire engine goes with it. It's very stable. There's huge differences between this one that I have and the one I have in the garage. The one I have in the garage is, it's got the Kawasaki motor. It's a phenomenal mower. Absolutely love it. If I could do it all over again, I would probably go from a 61 down to a 52. I don't really necessarily see a reason for a 61 for me. Some of you might have, you know, acres and acres and acres of grass that you have to cut, and you know that extra, you know, 9 inches, 10 inches or whatever would be very beneficial for you guys. But for me, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of times where the 61 has just been a pain in my butt. For instance, when I put the bagger system on it, it barely fit on my big trailer. That's the whole reason why I had to buy a bigger trailer, is because the bagger system wouldn't fit in here. It wouldn't fit long enough, and it also wouldn't fit wide enough. The 61 can be a giant pain when you guys buy like a 5-foot trailer. Like that, this thing's barely gonna fit. So just be cautious. Like, is it really worth it? And then when I'm on other people's property cutting lawns, I'm constantly running into the issue where the gaps are just too small for me to fit through, and that can be a pain. But 52, I think, might be that sweet spot. There are other brands like the Skags and the Hustlers and everything like that that have different sized decks. I think the Toro has like a 60-inch deck. I don't know why went with 61, but yeah. So I'm not telling you to go out and buy a $15,000 mower brand new, anything like that. That's not what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that you want to get as close to commercial, or actually commercial stand-on mower as soon as you can. If you have to rock like a 30-inch push mower for your first, I don't know, 6 months, that's totally fine. I had to do that. A lot of us did that in the industry. But for those of you that do have a little bit of cash and you got the money, go on Facebook Marketplace and just look for a commercial mower. It doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't matter what brand it is. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't matter if it's a Bad Boy or if it's a Spartan, or it does not matter what kind of mower it is. Just try to keep the hours, you know, below 2,000. You're only going to be using it for a certain amount of time. If you can buy one for like $3,000, that's awesome. Buy it. It doesn't have to be a 52. Even if it's only a 36, you're trying to save all the money you can, it's fine. Because you're not going to have 40 accounts. You're not going to have to worry about having a huge brand new mower ripping 6, 7, 8 hours a day. You're only going to be mowing, you know, a couple yards a week, if that. When you're first starting out, it takes time for the clients to come in. Okay, so go on Facebook Marketplace, get yourself a decent commercial mower, and then you're off to the races. You got one of the biggest parts done. If you already have a mower, congratulations, use that. Do not get one of those stand-on residential with the steering wheel mowers. They're just a giant waste of money. Spend a couple extra $100, get yourself a commercial mower. They're out there. There's thousands of them. If you have to drive like an hour or 2 hours to go pick it up, go get it. And then there's also times where it's better to buy the mowers. Like if you could buy it in the dead of winter, buy them in the dead of winter because they're going to be way cheaper and people aren't needing them. Okay, so moving on. These are Green Touch rack systems. This is the V3 fuel cage. Like I said, I've had this for about 3 years now. These used to be green. I painted them yellow just so it went with everything else that was yellow. I was trying to go for a black and yellow theme. I just think it looks a lot better when it's going down the road and things just match and stuff like that. But yeah, this is the V3 fuel cage, and I have the Shurcan in here. This is the one where you just push this button down on the top and then gas comes out of the hose. But as you can see, I've modified mine so that I got a good 2-foot extension hose on here so that I can reach all the way down to the ground and fill up my stuff without having to hold on to it and try to fill it, because this hose that it comes with is only, you know, 10 inches long. And it can be a pain trying to hold your weed whacker up in the air while you're trying to press this knob down while you're trying to hold that hose in the can. So having that extension was really nice. And then I went with clear so that I can see how much, you know, fuel is actually coming out and if it's coming out quickly and stuff like that. Sometimes if like you push this down and you're not getting that much fuel out of it, you can just push this top up right here, and then that will just, then all of a sudden the fuel will just start flowing out of there like crazy. But this is the first backpack blower I ever had. This is the Husqvarna 570 BTS. This thing will start on the second or third pull from a cold start. This thing has literally been nothing but beautiful for me. And this is the daily one I have. I also have the PB9010T, but I only use that for leaf cleanups. For anybody who buys that PB, that big boy, the biggest one you can get, and use that on their daily routes, you're crazy. Bought this one from Lowe's 3 or 4 years ago for like 499 bucks. Also, the thing I love about this one is this arm in this hose is so flexible. With that big boy, that PB, unless you have that baby worn in for the last 5 or 6 years, that hose is extremely stiff. Extremely. I mean, you could let go of it and it'll just sit there. This one will fall right to the ground. It's so, and some of you are like, well, what does it matter? Like, it matters, trust me. Especially when you're on the mower and you're blowing stuff off, that helps a lot. But if you have to use a broom or a handheld battery operated one, because that's what you have and you can't afford to go out and buy it, you could buy one of these on Facebook for 150, 200 bucks. Absolutely, all day long. You might have to change the spark plug, get a different air filter, stuff like that, but that's totally fine. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but all my stuff is available to me on the passenger side, so that I'm not in the road trying to do stuff. But here we have mistake. They spelled mistake wrong right here. It says Milwaukee, but I think they meant to put mistake on there. For those of you that do not know, I have more Milwaukee tools than one man needs. So I figured, you know, I already have all the batteries. Why don't I just save a couple of steps and go with the weed whacker and the edger, and I also have the hedge trimmer and the chainsaw, the extended chainsaw, and I have a handheld chainsaw also. But yeah, I was using this last year and I was having some issues with it, wanting to stay running and all that, and then I found out that this screen right here was just really dirty and you needed to clean it and then it would run better. Also, I took my guard off, so that makes this thing overheat all the time. So as soon as I let off the throttle for like a couple of seconds, it just shuts off, which is phenomenal. It's what everybody wants, is to just be starting that up while you're, you know, working all the time. And I know people are like, oh, I have the best luck in the world with my still stuff, like it's the coolest, it's the best, it works first pull, blah. I don't care, honestly. I don't. I'm just telling you what works for me, and what doesn't work for me is this thing works. You just have to keep feathering the throttle, like when it's not, you know. I have no idea, maybe I broke it, but maybe the carburetor needs to be adjusted, which I did that the other day. It worked a little bit, it helped it out a little, but it's still, in my opinion, it's, maybe I bought one that's just bad. It's a faulty one, and that happens, you guys. You have to understand that. Sometimes you buy stuff and like it's faulty, it wasn't put together right, it doesn't work great. Somebody else might have the same exact one, they're like, oh, I've had it 15 years and it starts first pull. Well, maybe you got a good one, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, things happen. You know what I mean? All of us buy brand new trucks all the time, and then some of us have great luck and some of us just don't have any luck at all. But back to this mistake. The only reason I don't like them is well, the batteries just don't last very long. I have almost 40 accounts, and when I'm using this, you know, a couple hours, 3-4 hours a day, and I'm going through batteries too quick. So these are here strictly for backup. This is the only edger I have, so when I'm edging I use this. And then also the Milwaukee push mower. I was like, heck yeah. So like when I bought that, I was like, oh, I get 2 of the big batteries with it. So that's why I bought the push mower, because I currently, it's either 61 inches or 21 inches. So the smaller gates get the push mower right now. I think I have 3 or 4 accounts that I have to use that push mower on. So it's not a really big deal right now. But one awesome thing about the battery situation is, as you can tell, it's literally sitting on its side and folded in half and tucked up on the front of my trailer. So when it comes to space, you guys, this, because if you try to do that with a gas one, good luck. You know what I mean? Most people that I see, they have this in the front of their trailer sideways. So whenever they need it, they got to take that one off to push that one to go use it, and then they put it back, and that's totally fine. You know what I mean? Like, that's totally fine, whatever it works. For the last year and a half, I had been just throwing it in the bed of my truck, but then I kept finding out that, like, I was like, I don't like it in the bed of my truck, because when I disconnect my trailer, then I gotta take it out and I gotta put it in the garage, blah blah blah. I like to just leave it here and park it here. So I was trying to find a spot for it, and then I found a spot, and then that works great. It works perfect right there, and I have it strapped in right there. I have it running through this handle, through that handle to that one. This thing is great. Love it. Absolutely. It's perfect. It really is. It works well here for what I need it. The edger is also amazing. It's super quiet, very easy to use. One awesome thing about these two is their combi systems. So I can put different heads on all of these, and Milwaukee makes a bunch of different heads too. So if I want to put the hedge trimmer on there, or like some bush trimmer, bush whacker, whatever, the weed whacker, the edger, the chainsaw, like there's a brush they make now. They make brooms, shovels, all kinds of stuff. Combi system. If you bought a combi system, and I know I know they make 94 combi systems and 91s or whatever, but those motors are too small for what everybody's using them for. Like if you want to use the big brush on it, or the edger, or the bed redefiner, you need to get like a 111 at least, you know what I'm saying, or a 131, because you need some power when you're doing big stuff like that. With this, you're good to go. You just use whatever battery you got. So that's it for the weed whackers and the push mower. Also the mower. I know it's everybody's favorite part. I wish I could just have 40 accounts that just need to be mowed, and I didn't have to blow them and edge them and weed whack and stuff. One of the other really awesome things about this trailer is when you go to pick it up, and I locked it in place. When you're going down the road, this thing will always bounce like this. It'll make this god-awful noise right there where it's just bouncing. Well, I attach these cargo buckles right here that retract. These things are phenomenal. I hook it right here on the fence, give it a couple of tugs, and now nothing, no noise. It's completely secured, completely tight, and I have it on both sides too. And then just a release, boom, and then it retracts on its own, just like that. And then I just drop the gate, and like I said, I have it on both sides. That was one thing I purchased. So the only reason I actually did that was because it was becoming very annoying, that gate bouncing and smacking all the time. And I know you guys can hear it. For those of you that have that problem, I know you can hear it when you're driving down the road. It's so annoying. And then at some point, what's going to happen is these things are going to snap off. And this trailer has been completely abused, you guys. I have used this trailer so many times. And those things will eventually just rattle themselves right off. But when you do that, it alleviates a lot of that. So here's the inside of my trailer. I just recently added this box up here. I'm gonna try to figure out some way to mount my attachments for this in my trailer right here. I'm gonna try to put like the chainsaw up here, and because they're really long poles, they're like 5-foot poles that fold in half. So I'm gonna try to put them up here somehow, some way. I'm not really sure how though. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. Maybe I'll build like a small little box that comes out just big enough to fit maybe 2 of them in there, some kind of shelving or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, I just added this box, and you can see there's an oil stain right here, and I'll show you why. So I put my oil in here like so, and this one right here actually came off. The cap came off, and somehow it got a hole poked in there, so it was leaking all over this box. Literally was filled, this box was leaking. And then also there's a bunch of holes in the bottom of this box that I drilled a couple years ago, because sometimes water would get in there and then it would freeze and everything that was in there would get, you know, destroyed. Well, anyway, every time I parked my mower up there, oil would drip down to here, a little bit on there, blah blah blah. Like on the front of my deck, it's hard to tell, but all this dirt is wet because oil was dripping out of that box when it first punctured. It was full, and when I was driving, it was leaking onto my mower. And when I got the mower out and I started to mow, I thought there was something wrong with the motor. You guys, I was ready to write Ed a nasty letter. I was ready to make YouTube videos on how crappy these Wright mowers are, because after only 50 hours, it's leaking oil. Like, I was ready to just I was ready to call it my dealership and just cuss them out. I was so afraid that something cracked or something broke or oil was coming out of my exhaust. Like, I was so angry. And then I was getting ready to take it off, and I noticed there was fresh oil on there, and I'm like, what the heck? And then the light bulb turned on. I was like, oh, I got oil in here, I wonder if it, and then I opened it and it was just literally, there was just oil like at the bottom, so thick you can kind of see some of it still there. And then yeah, see, I have a hole right there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's where it was coming out of, and right here. And the oil was dripping out, and my mower parked right here, and it was dripping right onto my mower. And I was like, I'm such an idiot. I was ready to just kill somebody. But I added this box, and it's been nice because this is the discharge chute for the push mower. I got my chainsaw in here, I got some loppers, and I got all my oil. So yeah, but there's room. I can put leaf bags in here if I wanted to, and all kinds of stuff. But one of the things, this is just something that, this box was something I already had, so I just used it. But my game plan was to put a longer box up here, kind of like something that you guys would put in the bed of your trucks. That's what I wanted to put right here. I just hadn't got one yet. And then over here to this utility rack, this had I known better, should be mounted flush with this top, so that you can actually see the holes when you're on the other side grabbing the stuff, because you can't see the holes when you're putting it away. You kind of have to like feel for it, but it's not a big deal. These are not things that I use all the time either. I've had this rake for like 7 years. I'm surprised it hasn't snapped in half. And yeah, I just have regular rake, pitchfork, shovel. You know, this is pretty much an edger. For those of you that know, you know, this is an edger. So there's put the walls on this trailer. I used a lot of bolts. I used huge lag bolts down here in the edge to kind of hold that 2x4 that's running with, or kind of hold it to the trailer. I actually drilled through the side of the trailer, and then the bolts come out right here. So these walls are very sturdy. I used a 7-ply paint on the wood. It's holding up great. This is probably the best setup I've come up with so far. Like I said, I have a video before where I used a setup just like this. This trailer is a 6-foot by 8-foot trailer. I had to go 6 feet instead of 5 feet because of that fat thing right there. But for those of you that have like a 48-inch or a 45 or whatever size they are, or 52, like, you can go with a 5-foot trailer. But I would go with a tandem. So if you could get a trailer that's maybe 10 feet long and it's tandem, 5 feet wide, that's a good trailer. That's a really good trailer, and it might be able to pull like 7,000 pounds, which is awesome. If you can get aluminum, that's even better because it's just lighter. It's going to cost you more money, but in the long run it would be better. And like I said, you do not have to put walls on it. One of the things that sucks about having these walls is when I'm going down the road, not that much air is hitting this mower. There's a lot less airflow inside that trailer because I have these walls up. If you had just an open trailer, that thing's going to breathe a lot more, and that's very important when you're on that mower, you know, 6 hours a day. It's getting hot, it needs to cool down. So when you're driving down the road 50, 60, 70 miles an hour and that thing's just sucking in all that air, it's very happy. You're cooling the exhaust down, you're cooling the actual block itself down. That's great. That's why I love utility trailers. That's why I hate enclosed trailers. I made an awesome video on my channel about enclosed versus utility. If you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely go check it out. It's a great video. There's a lot of tips in there. Phenomenal. All right, inside of my truck, here's a mesh tarp to cover up the trailer if I need to, or my truck bed. My batteries that I have. Now remember, I use my push mower and I also use my edger, so that's why I have so many batteries. These are the big boys. For those of you guys that don't know, these are HG12s. This is the biggest that Milwaukee makes currently for the M18. A bunch of stakes for edges. I have a bunch of different stakes. There's long plastic ones here. There's a bunch of metal ones right here. I just keep saving them just in case, because you never know when you're going to need them. Over here on this side, I have all my keys for my racks, for the Green Touch racks that are holding the string trimmers and the blowers and stuff. And then this is my battery pack for my GoPro, and this is the charger for my headphones that I wear all the time. And then this thing, oh boy, I just picked this thing up not too long ago. This is a must-have. So it plugs right into your cigarette, whatever. But this thing is awesome because, see if I can do this with one hand. These things will actually retract. So it's pulled out now, but you just give it a nice little tug. Give it a tug and then it comes back in. Same thing with this one. And you can pull them out like a good amount and then just retract it. And they stay nice, and you know, they're not, you don't have cords like this all over the place, and and that just sits right there. And it also rotates. You can have it pushing down and all kinds of stuff. And then when the truck is on itself, it'll actually have a voltage. It'll tell you the voltage right here, what's going on, what's coming out. So that's really nice. Eye protection. I might have to find some side guards for this because I've been getting dirt and stuff flying into the side of my eye, and it's a giant pain. I'm sure a lot of you have seen F-150s before. I love this truck to death. I wish it could pull even more. Nothing on the driver's side. Oh, the other thing that's on that side there is the 2 sockets that I need. One socket will undo the blades on my mower, and then the other socket will undo all the lug nuts on the trailer tires and my truck tires, which is phenomenal. Some Milwaukee gloves I just picked up yesterday because I ran out. My clipboard, it just sits right here, so I can reach and grab it right there. It just sits right here all day long. This garbage can is primarily used for you know, when you're walking yards and there's cans and trash and all kinds of stuff, and sometimes you fill up your pockets. My ZK does have a trash can on it, but sometimes it gets full. But that's what this is for, so that I can throw stuff in it. And then also when I'm done with my water bottles or my lunch or whatever, I throw it in there and then I empty it every day. This seat pushes right up. Now I can get to even more tools. And then I have in here my Sawzall, pipe cutter, you know, just anything I'll need every day. My edger blades are in a big box down here. I got like 60 of them in there. Bungee cords, more blades for my Sawzall, flags, sprinkler heads if I want to replace a couple of heads. I don't have any smaller fountain style ones, which I should probably get, but I got a big knife in here. Various tools, flathead screwdriver, pair of pliers, flashlight, This wrench is actually the size for the edger. This tool is to adjust sprinkler heads and stuff like that. The Sawzall, which I use to cut branches down a lot, quite a bit actually. It's very fast. You guys should do it. A couple toe straps in here, or just ratchet straps. You know, just various tools that you use day to day. This is Thor. For those of you guys that don't know Thor, this is a 1/2-inch impact driver. This is what I use for the blades and tires and all the big stuff in the... How did I get this in there last time? Just like that. And this is just a jump box. For those of you guys that don't know, this is a must-have for if one of my mowers dies or my truck dies or something like that. It just hooks right up, and then this bad boy will just shoot it to life. And I made sure I got myself a big one, something that I know is going to start it. And then this thing will start a big old diesel, as you can see right there. A 7-liter diesel this thing will start. But I picked this up off of Amazon. I think it was like $200. Again, these are all things that you don't need to have. I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas, okay? Don't go yelling at me in the comments saying, Brian, nobody has $20,000 to do all this. These are all options. This is like when you go buy a truck or a car or something, and then they just give you, you know, packages on top of packages on top of packages. These are all things that I've accumulated over the last 4 years. This is not stuff I just went out and bought yesterday. You guys know what those are? Cables and a tow rope. This is very, 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 very important. Get a tow rope. Costs you a couple bucks. You get your lawnmower stuck in a ditch, you need to get it out. The sad truth is, when you run one trailer like this and one mower, you're gonna have to disconnect your trailer and then drive your truck over to where it's stuck and get yourself out. That's just the sad truth to it. You know, sometimes lawn care is fun, sometimes it's not. First aid kit, absolute must. Very easy to get to also. It's not tucked away, buried underneath a toolbox, and there's a million tools on top of it. Like, make sure you can get to it, you guys. Like, what's the point of a first aid kit if you have to work 15 minutes just to find it? You know what I mean? Make sure it's readily available. I used to put it right here under my seat until I recently found out that in this truck, the air ducts, I don't know if you can see that down in there, but the airflow for the heat and air conditioning blows out from there. So that was blocking it, and I was getting really crappy airflow in my truck. Also underneath there, leaf bags, just a pile of them. There's probably 40 leaf bags in there. So that'll get me by for a long time. Last thing is this is the string that I use in my my weed whackers, my string trimmers. These are all individually made up. These little circles is one, there's probably 10 in here. But this is a 1 gallon Ziploc baggie. So what I'll do is every once in a while, every like 6 months or so, I'll go in the house, I'll grab my spool of string, and I'll just make up a whole bunch of those bags. And that way there I'm good. Like, I'm good for the season, you know. I don't have to worry about coming back to my trailer. Oh, that was the other thing is, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't have string trim on my trailer. And there's a reason behind that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have actually read the directions on the actual spool itself, but it does say to keep the line cool or damp. I Googled it. Some of them say to put it in a bucket of water. Some of them say to just have it in a Ziploc baggie with a sponge inside of it. I leave it in my truck, and I have noticed that it's much, 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 much better when you leave it in your truck versus on your trailer. You guys, when that plastic is sitting on your trailer, it's getting hit by all the dirt, the wind, the cold, the wet, the water. Like, it's just, the sand is beating up on it. The sun is beating it up, making it so brittle. Take it off your trailer. Also, having those made up already has been just a game changer for me, because if you're out on a property and let's say it's a 2-minute walk to the backyard and you run out of string trim, or you run out of the trimmer line, then you have to walk all the way back to your truck, break it off, walk all the way back to your, you know, where you were, get yourself set up and ready to go. And, you know, I mean, yeah, granted, you could just already have it spooled up like I do and then put in your pocket from your trailer. But doing it the way I do it, I feel like it just takes away all kinds of stuff. It takes away all kinds of steps. And like I said, you should never have it on your trailer. Take the trimmer line off of your trailer if you're rocking a utility trailer. It's so stupid that people put it on their trailer. The sun, the heat, like I said, the elements just beats up that entire spool and becomes so brittle. It literally tells you to keep it wet. So when people are telling you to drop it in a 5-gallon bucket and then poke a hole through the top and get that's cool, whatever. Like, but then you got to carry around a 5-gallon bucket full of water. Like, where am I supposed to put a 5-gallon bucket of water? In the bed of my truck so it rolls around? Do I got to strap it down? How often do I got to change the water? Like, do I have to fill it up? Like, it's just one more thing. Go inside your house, air conditioning, turn your favorite TV show on, watch one of my YouTube videos, grab your spool and your little clippers and a roll of duct tape and just sit there for 20 minutes. Just 1, 2, 3. Roll it up on your hand, rip the duct tape off, wrap it around there real quick, bam, toss it aside. Fill up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them Ziploc baggies. Store the Ziploc baggies in a nice, cool, you know, damp spot if you could. And then just call it a day. Call it a year. Call it a year. You just build up 10 of them little baggies. You're done for the entire season, probably halfway through the next season. Did you just hear what I said? So for 20 minutes in your house watching TV, you just saved yourself putting it on your trailer, getting it off your trailer, having them done, buying them from the store, putting them in a 5-gallon bucket full of water. You just saved yourself all that bull crap just by doing that little 20-minute session that I just talked about. And the nice thing about that little 20-minute session, you can do it on a rainy day, you can do it in the middle of the winter time, you can do it whenever you want. Like, that is the way to do it. I'm telling you, I have not seen anybody else make a better method. You can actually buy them pre-rolled and ready to go from different various websites too, which I don't understand why. But yeah, don't put the line on your utility trailers. It's stupid. I don't even recommend putting them inside your enclosed trailers because, well, first of all, you shouldn't even have an enclosed trailer. Sorry, I'm very adamant about the way I do things. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. If you could do me a huge favor and smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.